If you can feel tension through a screen, then trust me, Abuja is practically vibrating right now. The air is heavy, the kind of heavy that makes people whisper instead of talk, the kind that tells you something big is about to happen. And if you're watching this at this moment, don't blink, don't scroll, don't even stand up, because what is unfolding at the Federal High Court today, Tuesday, January 27, 2026, is pure legal drama at its finest. This is not rumor. This is not social media exaggeration. This is happening live. The headline didn't lie. This is the real deal. All eyes are locked on one explosive question: will the court move Nnamdi Kanu back to Abuja today, or will he remain locked away hundreds of kilometers from the center of power? The battle has shifted. This is no longer just about freedom. It's now about control, access, influence, and where power truly sits. From the moment court doors opened this morning, you could sense something was different. Lawyers rushed in with files stuck tightly under their arms. Journalists scrambled for seats. Security presence doubled. DSS operatives moved quietly through the corridors, masked, unreadable, watching everything and everyone. The courtroom felt like the final scene of a suspense movie, quiet on the surface, but boiling underneath. And then something strange hit everyone at once. The dock was empty. Yes, empty. The man everyone came to see, the man whose fate could reshape national conversation once again, was nowhere in the courtroom. Nnamdi Kanu was not physically present. He remained in Sokoto Correctional Centre, far away from Abuja, far away from his lawyers, far away from his family, and far away from the media spotlight. And that absence became the heartbeat of today's explosive courtroom battle. His legal team came in swinging. Led by a relentless team of senior advocates, they launched what can only be described as a last-ditch rescue mission. Their argument was simple but powerful: keeping their client in Sokoto is not just imprisonment, it is isolation, strategic isolation. They told the judge that the distance alone is choking the appeal process. Lawyers traveling dangerous highways for signatures. Medical access delayed. Family contact restricted. Case files moving slowly or not at all. According to them, justice cannot breathe under those conditions. One of the senior lawyers rose and delivered a line that froze the room. How does a man fight a life sentence when his lawyers must cross unsafe roads just to get a signature? The words landed like thunder. He painted a picture of a man buried under distance, bureaucracy, and silence, the system slowly grinding down the ability to defend himself. According to the defense, this is not accidental. It is a quiet strategy to weaken resistance, delay appeal, and disconnect him from his legal lifeline. But the federal government was ready. And they pushed back hard. Their message was blunt: moving him back to Abuja is a security nightmare. They reminded the court of previous rulings that declared certain facilities unsuitable due to risks of unrest, influence on inmates, and potential instability. According to government lawyers, this is not punishment, it is prevention. They argued that relocating him to Abuja could ignite tensions, attract massive crowds, and stretch security forces dangerously thin. In simple terms, bringing him back could create chaos. Now the courtroom became electric. Every sentence from both sides felt like a punch. Every scribble from the judge's pen sounded louder than it should. People leaned forward in their seats. Some supporters clasped their hands tightly, whispering prayers under their breath. Others stared at the bench, trying to read meaning from the judge's facial expression. Was he convinced? Was he hesitant? Was he preparing a shock decision? The room held its breath over and over again. And then the question shifted again. Since Kanu wasn't physically present, his lawyers demanded a virtual appearance. They wanted him connected live by video from Sokoto so he could address the court directly. They argued that the court, and the nation, deserves to see his condition and hear his voice. Reports circulating suggest he is eager to speak, eager to explain that he has limited access to his documents, limited contact with his legal team, and serious challenges preparing his appeal. Imagine trying to challenge a life sentence when the judgment itself is barely accessible to you. Imagine depending on lawyers who must travel half a day just to exchange paperwork. That was the image painted before the judge, and it hit hard. The argument became heated. Voices rose slightly. Objections flew. The courtroom tightened like a coiled spring. Then came the pause that changed everything. The judge announced a brief recess to consider the submissions. And just like that, the entire building fell into suspense mode. People stepped outside into the hallways, glued to their phones. Journalists whispered into recorders. Supporters debated nervously. Security tightened their formation. Every second stretched longer than the last. Because everyone understands what this decision could trigger. If the judge grants the request, we could witness a major security operation within hours, possibly an airlift back to Abuja or relocation closer to legal access. That alone would dominate headlines nationwide. But if the judge refuses, the status quo remains: continued isolation, continued distance, continued slow grind of the appeal process. Months could pass. Maybe longer. And then another layer of intrigue entered the story. Unconfirmed whispers suggest that foreign observers, possibly diplomats from the US and UK, are quietly monitoring the proceedings. With recent security partnerships, regional tensions, and international human rights conversations growing louder, this case is being watched beyond Nigeria's borders. Every decision today sends a message, not just locally, but globally. Which brings us to the real question. Is this truly about security, or is it about strategy? Is the government genuinely protecting national stability, or are they quietly using distance as leverage? Is isolation becoming an invisible punishment layered on top of imprisonment? Or is it simply the unavoidable reality of managing a high-profile convict in a tense political climate? That's where you come in. What do you honestly think? Security necessity or calculated pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I want to hear your take. And if you're locked into this breakdown, don't just watch silently. Hit that like button so more people can follow this unfolding drama. Subscribe if you haven't already, because the moment the judge returns and drops his ruling, you'll want to be among the first to know. Turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Because today is bigger than a transfer request. Today is a test of power, justice, transparency, and how far the system can stretch before the public pushes back. We are standing by. And the gavel could fall at any moment.